Hi, I'm Doug French, and I want to be your next mayor. Professionally, I'm a global vice president at Thomson Reuters, the business news and information company. I manage over $1 billion in information products and services to the financial sector. And I'm measured on two criteria. One, how do I track the financial performance of the company? And two, how effective are the decisions I make in managing the overall business? As your mayor, I would expect nothing less. My opponent has been in office 12 years and is looking for another 4. So how is he performing, and how effective have the decisions been that he has made? The first and most important decision he had to make was back in 2000. Who would replace Frank Carros, our city manager, after 22 years? We've yet to have the answer to that question. The position's turned over 4 times since 2000. We've incurred a cost of over $1 million in transition fees, not to mention the inefficiency in our local government. As your mayor, I will solidify the executive management at City Hall. The second decision is the overall financial management of the city. Taxes have doubled during his 12 years. If you moved to Rye in 1998, you were paying $74 per $1,000 assessed value. It's now over $140. I will make fiscal management the priority of my administration. The third decision has to do with the police station. In 1999, it was recognized that we needed additional space for our police force. 10 years later, we still don't have an answer to that question, but we do have a $5 million bond we owe on the Lester's building, which is in a flood zone. So not only do we have to put $15 million to upgrade that facility, but the police will be helping themselves with a flood before they are able to help us. And the final decision is one that he has to make every day. And that is, does he represent Rye or does he represent Albany? In his role as counsel to State Senator Susie Oppenheimer, there have been a number of taxes that have come out of Albany that other Sound Shore mayors have opposed, but my opponent has been silent. I would stand alongside those other mayors and oppose those taxes. The increase in income tax of families earning $250,000 or more. The proposed condominium tax that would have impacted hundreds of Rye families. There's also the MTA tax that has been approved and passed by the Senate, which has hit Rye with $100,000 in additional taxes. Not to mention the affordable housing settlement that came out of the county, where my opponent was silent, but I came out and said, let's delay any vote until we know more information on how it impacts our citizens and give us a voice in that debate.
We have some very serious issues that we're facing right now. And if we don't work together as mayors and supervisors all up and down the Sound Shore and all over New York State to change the way business is conducted in Albany, we're all going to continue to suffer. You guys have the same property tax problem that I have right now, and a lot of that's because we don't have pension reform that we need for public employees. You have unfunded mandates that are strangling you, everything from stormwater regulations to unfunded mandates in your school district. These are things that are across the board. They are not unique to Rye. But that's no excuse for you guys having a budget increase like you had this year. I actually reduced our budget by $100,000 this year. Our whole board did, because we know what all of our residents are suffering from.
Qualifications that the city needs right now are tied to business management, and that's the experience that I bring. I look at Michael Bloomberg, and I compete with him every day in the private sector. Thomson Reuters against Bloomberg. And they have a very sound business management corporation. And we've had real good success against them as well. And I see what he's been able to do to bring those principles to the city of New York and instill sound business principles. That's what I want to bring to Rye. And the conversation around town the last few years has really changed. People are now talking about, am I going to be able to continue to live in Rye? Even if I can, is Rye even worth it? So my vision would be, can we change the conversation where people come to town, they stay in town, we get a broad mix of people, and we get back to the community rather than a transient society where people just come in and can afford it and then move out of town. So if we can get back to controlling spending and freezing taxes, I think that would be the hallmark of our administration. It was funny, I was watching the council, I don't know, 3 months ago, and Matt Cunningham said he's spending more time looking at documents over the course of the past 2 years at where did the water go at Schubert Pond, and spending no time on cutting taxes and controlling spending. That's where I think the focus has to be. So I think issues like the Schubert Pond are important, but I think they have to be managed more effectively, and I think the city's business has to focus on, again, where do we help the broader base of the citizenry in terms of fiscal responsibility.
Doug French brings a business sensibility to this job that does not exist right now on the board. Let's be honest. Businessmen have a bottom line, they have deadlines, they have deliverables, there are consequences when they don't deliver. Career politicians don't have that. Unfortunately, the re-election rate for incumbents all over New York State is 98% at every level of government. We can't have that anymore. We are never going to change the way we do business if we keep electing the same people to office year after year.
So this election is about the decisions we make and how they impact Rye. I have 25 years in effective management in the private sector. Unlike my opponent, I have not built a career in the public sector. But I have seen how private sector solutions with effective management and sound fiscal policy can have a big impact in the public sector. Look at Mayor Bloomberg in the city of New York. No public sector experience, and he's reformed that city. I plan to bring the same type of expertise to Rye. I ask for your vote on November 3rd. The challenges facing Rye are tremendous, and I think we need a new approach and new leadership. Thank you very much.